Let's be brutally honest for a second. You don't have a life. You have a subscription to existence. And right now the price tag is $6,400 a month. That is the cost for the average American household just to keep the lights on. Before you save a dime, your landlord, your car lease, and your insurance premiums have already confiscated the first $77,000 of your yearly salary. This is exactly why you are sitting here watching this instead of doing what you actually love. You aren't working because you're passionate. You're working because the bills show up every 30 days like clockwork, whether you're exhausted or not. But there is a mathematical escape hatch, a specific moment where the game flips. Most people walk right past it and work until they die. Today we stop walking. Picture a standard Tuesday morning. You are 30 minutes into your commute, staring at the bumper in front of you, dreading the next 8 hours of Zoom calls. Yesterday, you traded a full day of your life for a paycheck. After taxes and benefits, you walked away with maybe $320. That is, the market value of your time. But later that night, you check your brokerage account. No fanfare, no breaking news, just a quiet notification. While you were medicating yourself with caffeine and enduring your boss, your portfolio generated $412. You made more money sleeping and waiting in traffic than you did working. This isn't a glitch, it's called the crossover point. And for the first time you realize that 40 years of corporate loyalty is a scam you no longer have to fall for. You have been programmed to follow a very specific, very broken script. Go to college, get into debt, sit in a cubicle for 40 years, and pray that a 3% 401k match saves you. You are trading the best years of your physical health for a retirement that might never happen. And if you are banking on Social Security to save you, look at the math. The average check today is around $1,900. That doesn't even cover rent in a major city. That isn't a retirement plan. That is a poverty plan. There is another path. But it requires you to stop listening to the vague financial advice designed to keep you a compliant employee. Before we go further, kill the ego. I don't care about your job title or your gross salary. Those are vanity metrics. We need one number. Your burn rate. What does it cost to keep your life running? The mortgage, the lease, the insurance, the $15 salads at your desk. For most of you, that number is bleeding between $4,500 and $6,500 every single month. If you don't know this number specifically, you aren't an investor. You're a tourist. This whole concept boils down to one specific calendar date, where employment becomes a choice, not a hostage situation. We call it the sulfur point. It is the exact mathematical moment where the passive income from your assets exceeds the cost of your existence. It's not about hustle culture or grindset. It is cold, hard algebra. Once you hit this number, your boss loses all leverage over you. But to get there, we have to visualize two lines. Imagine a chart with two lines racing against time. Line 1 is your cost of living for the average American. This is a relentless linear beast sitting at about $77,000 a year. It's the price of admission to the middle class. 1/3 goes to a bank for your mortgage. Another 1,000 vanishes into your car payment and insurance. Money you burn just to get to the job that pays for the car. Then come the silent killers. Subscriptions, utilities, and the I deserve this is pending that fills the void. This line is a cage. Line 2 is your freedom line, but evinced interest, appreciation. When you start, this line is flatlining at zero. It looks pathetic. You save $500. You make $3. It feels like a waste of time. But here's the secret. This line doesn't move straight. It curves. It's exponential. While your expenses are linear, your investments are compounding. At first, it moves slowly. Then suddenly, it goes vertical. The game is simply forcing line 2 to cross over line 1. When they cross, you win capitalism. But most people carry too much debt for the lines to ever meet. Let's define the crossover point with zero ambiguity. It is the moment your assets can fully subsidize your existence without you lifting a finger. But to get there, we need to translate your life into a single terrifying number. We use the 4% rule. It's not perfect, but it's the standard for a reason. Historical data suggests that if you withdraw 4% of a diversified portfolio annually, adjusted for inflation, you won't go broke even if the market throws a tantrum. So, we aren't asking how much can I spend? We are asking how big does the pile need to be, so I never have to answer to a manager again. Here is the math. Take your annual burn rate and divide it by 0.04. Or, simpler, multiply it by 25. Let's look at the average American household again. You're spending $77,280 a year. To generate that kind of cash flow safely, you need a portfolio of $1.93 million. $1.93 million. Let that number sink in. That is the current market price of your freedom. I can hear you panic. You're thinking, I make $80K a year. I save $500 a month. I will be dead before I hit $2 million a month. And you are absolutely right. If you follow the standard advice, save 10%, buy a lotto occasionally. Hope for the best. You will fail. The math does not work for the average consumer. If you invest a modest $500 a month into the S&P 500, assuming a historic return, you won't hit that crossover point until you are in your late 60s. Congratulations, you bought your freedom just in time to use it at the nursing home. This is why people give up. They look at the $1.93 million mountain, look at their $500 shovel, and decide it's easier to just stay in the cubicle, and complain they accept the golden handcuffs because the alternative feels impossible. But here is what the financial industry doesn't tell you. You are trying to solve the wrong side of the equation. You are obsessed with growing the pile, but you're ignoring the fire that's burning it down. The crossover point isn't a fixed destination. It moves, and you have more control over it than you think. Stop acting like a victim of the math. The math is neutral. Your strategy is flawed. The crossover point has two levers, and you are only pulling one. Lever. One is your portfolio. Most people obsess over this. They want the raise, the side hustle, the winning stock pick. They try to out-earn their lifestyle. It's exhausting, and it's slow. Lever 2 is your burn rate. And this is where the magic happens. Look at the physics of it. If you spend $6,400 a month, you need nearly $2 million. But what if you ruthlessly omit your life? What if you slash that burn rate to $5,000? Suddenly, your freedom number drops to $1.5 million. You just erased $400,000 from your target. You didn't just save money. You deleted years of mandatory labor from your future. Let's get radical. Cut your burn rate to $3,000 a month. Live smaller. Drive a used car. Stop buying things to impress people you don't like, and your target plummets to $900,000. Here's the rule to tattoo on your brain. Every $100 you cut from your monthly expenses reduces your freedom number by $30,000. Think about that next time you sign up for a subscription you don't use. That $15 Netflix charge isn't just $15. It represents $4,500 of capital you need to accumulate just to pay for it. Lowering your expenses attacks the problem from both ends. You need less money to survive, and you have more cash flow to invest. It is double leverage. This is the part where most people quit the slog when you start. Investing feels like throwing money into a black hole. You sacrifice, you save, and the market drops 2% the next day, wiping out your contribution. It feels pointless, but there is a psychological threshold. Usually, it hits around $100,000. Charlie Munger called the first $100K a bitch, and he was right. But once you cross it, the physics change suddenly. A 10% market year isn't buying you a dinner. It's making you $10,000. That's not play money. That is real leverage. I call this the freedom gradient. Financial independence isn't a binary switch where you are a slave on Monday and free on Tuesday. It's a slope when your portfolio generates $500 a month. Your car is free. You still have to work, but you no longer work for your car. At $1,500 a month, your rent is covered. You still have a boss, but he can't make you homeless anymore. The dynamic in the meeting room shifts. You speak differently when you know your survival isn't entirely in their hands. Your money starts to act like an employee that never sleeps, never complains, and never asks for a raise. It just works. There is a massive milestone halfway up the mountain that nobody talks about. It's called coast fire. This is the point where you have enough invested that compound interest alone will carry you to retirement. You don't need to save another penny. Let's say you are 30. If you have $158,000 invested today and you never contribute another dollar, at 7% growth, that money will grow into over $1.2 million by the time you're 60. You are done saving. Think about the pressure release. You still need to cover your daily bills, sure. But the anxiety of, will I be eating cat food when I'm 70B is gone. You can step off the gas. You can take a lower paying job that doesn't make you miserable. You can work part-time. You can actually live. You haven't quit the race yet, but you have already crossed the finish line in your mind. 57% of Americans lose sleep over retirement. Once you hit coast fire, you are no longer one of them. Right now, I can hear the excuses forming in your throat. But Bobby, what if the market crashes? What about hyperinflation? What if the world ends? Let's kill these objections once and for all. Yes, the market will crash. It is guaranteed on average. A bear market happens every few years, dropping stocks by 35%. If you are already retired, that's scary. But you are not retired. You are in the accumulation phase. For you, a market crash is not a disaster. It is a clearance sale. When the market tanks, your monthly contribution buys more shares. You are acquiring future freedom at a discount. If you panic and sell, you are a fool. If you hold and keep buying, you are building wealth faster than in a bull market. As for inflation, the 4% rule was stress-tested against the worst inflation periods in history. It accounts for that. And here's the irony. You are terrified of investing because it feels risky. Yet you are perfectly comfortable relying on a single paycheck from a company that would replace you in 2 weeks if you died. That is not security. That is reckless gambling. Investing has volatility. Yes, but holding cash is a guaranteed loss. Cash is trash. It bleeds value every single year. The risk isn't that the S&P 500 goes down temporarily. The real risk is waking up at 65, too old to work, with nothing but a Social Security check that barely covers your prescriptions. Stop consuming content and start executing. Here is your protocol. Step 1. The audit. Damn your last 3 months of bank statements. Look at every transaction, the subscriptions you forgot, the Uber Eats fees, the impulse buys. Face the shame. Calculate your true monthly average. Step 2. The annualize. Multiply that number by 12. Step 3. The target. Multiply your annual cost by 25. That is your crossover number. Write it down. That is the price of your freedom. Step 4. The gap. Subtract your current investments from that number. The result is the enemy. That is the distance between you and autonomy. Step 5. Attack. Every decision you make now is about closing that gap. Raise your income? Good. But cutting your burn rate is faster. Remember, cutting $500 a month from your lifestyle removes $150,000 from the mountain you have to climb. Do not guess. Do the math. I want to leave you with a reframe that will haunt you every time you open your wallet. Every single thing you buy has 2 prices. There is the sticker price, the cash you hand over today. And then there is the freedom price, the time you just added to your sentence. Let's say you want to upgrade your car. It's going to cost you an extra $30,000 over the base model. You think, I can afford the monthly payments. Wrong thinking. If you invested that $30,000 at 8%, it would double every 9 years. Over a career, that single car purchase could cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars in lost compound interest. That car didn't cost $30,000. It cost you 3 years of freedom at the end of your life. Ask yourself, is the leather seat worth working until you're 68 instead of 65? Is the luxury upgrade worth missing 3 years of your children's lives? Sometimes the answer is yes. Usually, it's no. Once you see the world this way, you can't unsee it. You stop buying things to impress strangers, and you start buying your own time back. And eventually, that random Tuesday will come. You'll check your account, and the lines will cross. You won't just be rich, you will be free. If this video woke you up, smash the like button so the algorithm wakes up someone else. Subscribe if you're done being a passenger in your own life. I'll see you on the other side.